secret of Karma Yoga. Here in the 4th chapter, Bhagavan explicitly uses the term yoga. And in the beginning of the 4th chapter, Bhaktosi me sakha chedi rahasyam hedaduttamam. So, meaning secret of Karma Yogam, I am going to explain or give one more time, hey Arjuna, to you, because it is having very deep significance. Very deep significance is there. That is why I am now trying to impart this wisdom which is not new. And it is also rahasyam. Rahasyam hedad uttamam. Uttamam meaning the best. And it is rahasyam. Rahasyam he edad uttamam. And this ancient wisdom, when we say ancient wisdom, the secret of Karma Yoga, was reverently handled, very carefully handled, very meaningfully handled down through the ages. And this is an imperishable wisdom, and this is the foundation. That is why the Hindu Dharma is called as Sanatana Dharma. It is eternal. It is an imperishable foundation. And it was handled very carefully through ages. That's where Bhagavan says, I gave this imam vivasude yogam praktavan aham avyayam vivaswan manave praha manurikshwagave abravid evam parambara praptam imam rajarshayo viduhu sakale neha mahada yogo nashta parantara. So this very much reverently handled down through the ages, and this wisdom is the imperishable foundation. Karma Yoga. Yoga as the imperishable foundation of our culture, the Indian culture. And it needs long reflection. And not only the reflection, the involvement is also very much important. And one has to go into the depth. And if that commitment is not there, if that involvement is not there, and the loss of commitment happened through the people who were supposed to handle it reverently, but due to the problems of their minds, so-called as scattered, uncontrolled senses and mind, the ego-driven approach of the people who are supposed to handle this yoga got lost. And it doesn't mean that the wisdom has disappeared. They could not derive this wisdom due to their, due to the scattering of the mind, uncontrolled desires and senses, the ego-driven approaches. Here comes a story of a traveler who just visited a large construction site where this traveler met 3 workers, and these 3 workers, what are they doing? They are cutting stones under the hot sun. And this traveler walked to the first worker and asked, hey, what are you doing? This first man replied that, can't you see what am I doing? I am breaking these stones all day just to survive in this world. So can't you see what am I doing? I am breaking this rock throughout under the hot sun for the survival, just to survive in this world. Now the traveler moved to the second worker and asked, same question, what are you doing? And this person answered in a different way. I am earning money to take care of my family by doing this work under the hot sun. And now the traveler approached the third worker. And the third worker, again, his face is slightly different from the other two. Basically, an unusual calmness this traveler found in the face of this third worker. And you need to understand that the same job all three are doing, and the same work. So at this point, the traveler asked to the third person, what are you doing? And this third man replied with a smile and answered to the traveler that I am helping build a temple. See, the same work is done by three people. Same kind of environment or circumstances all three are having. Same stones, rock, same tools, same sun, same heat. Outwardly, if you see, all three are doing the same work. But what it matters now, based on the responses this traveler got from these three workers, it's very clear. Inwardly, they lived in three different worlds. Externally, one feels that the same environment, same work, same exposure. But what differs in this scenario with these three workers are the inward tendencies. Inwardly, they lived in three different worlds, we can see. The first one working with resentment, because I am surviving, I want to survive, that's why I am doing this work. Second one told I have to earn money for my family. So the second one, we can say working with responsibility, we can say. And third one saying I'm enabling the formation of a temple. I am a part of that initiative. That is where the third one working with kind of a sacredness we can see. So my question to all of you is this the action that is creating the different emotions? Obviously, it is not the action. It is basically the what is the right thing? It is basically the purpose. It is basically the inner attitude behind the action. And if you see, though this seems to be like a story, we have to now think from our stance. We live in this world. The world often judges our lives, and we also have the tendency to judge our life externally through the profession that we have, the success that we get, the position that we get, the achievement that we get. Correct? See, one is basically people looking at us, and the other one is basically how we look at the things in this world. See, the same person, as like in these three workers, one can have two choices in life. The first one is basically exhaust in this world with the ego-driven approach, with the ego-driven nature. The other one is basically whatever we are doing, irrespective of that, that being calm, being purified, and inwardly free. The choice is with that individual. The profession, the work, the area of doing the business may be same for a set of individuals. But what it differs is basically how we conceive this internally. So when I say conceive, the actions performed with insecurity, actions performed with attachment or with frustration. We can see in the first worker's case. I am surviving, I am just, can't you see this? This is frustration. I am earning money, insecurity, I need to work. And compassion, I am enabling a temple. I am enabling my work for a good reason. So actions performed with these kind of tags. When I say tags, attachment, insecurity, frustration, comparison, ego, they all will create bondage. Whereas the actions performed with awareness, what am I doing? What is the bigger reason for me to do the work? Even in the third worker's case, as an offering, as a dharma, as a surrender, that becomes yoga. And we don't need to complicate our lives with those workers. We may come back and say, these all are extreme cases. We all are working inside, sitting inside office, inside AC. Whether we work inside AC or outside. What is the attitude that we have while we execute the actions? Are we having the tags of attachment, insecurity, frustration, comparison, ego? Or are we having the tags of awareness, big picture thinking with a surrendering attitude? So if one chooses these tags such as attachment, aversion, bondage, insecurity, frustration, then it is quite evident that under the clutch of bondage, creates bondage. Whereas if the actions are performed out of holistic thinking to dharma, to awareness, to offering, then it becomes yoga. Simple. So, hey Arjuna, I am trying to give this knowledge or trying to bring back in your memory. Right? So, because the people who were supposed to give this yogic wisdom to you, their minds got scattered, they become restless, they become desire driven, they all become externally pulled, including you, Arjuna, including all of us. And when the inner alignment is lost, the life will become very heavy and fragmented. That is the case of Arjuna. So now this basically triggers a question to all of us. How am I currently approaching my life? What is my approach in life? Are we thinking our life as a set of challenges with fear or certain calculated behaviors? Or are we considering our life with the devotion, with the dimension of detachment, with the dimension of surrender, with the dimension of being the Upadhi in this world, right, where I become a nimitta? Or am I thinking I can always be calculative in this world? What is the approach that we have in our life? This is a question to all of us. And here we need to understand that Bhagavad Gita, when Bhagavan says that I am trying to bring this back in your memory, here the Gita resonates with the teachings of Upanishads. What is this teaching? We can learn to invoke the divine at will and train ourselves to remain continuously in it. Continuously in it and constantly function in this world with increased happiness. Simple. If you see the story of Mahabali, when Vamana comes and asks for the 3 foot of land, ultimately, though initially the ego of Mahabali was dominant, ultimately Mahabali understands that Sakshal Vishnu is appearing in front of me as the Vamana Murti. Tat Vamanam Harer Anandasya Gunatrayatma. Tat Vamanam, I am not able to recollect that. Tat Vamanam. Yeah, sorry, I'm missing that. Missing few words there. Yeah. So basically, Vamana Murti is understood as the Lord Vishnu. Harer Anandasya Gunatrayatmagam. Tat Vamanam Rupam Avardhadadvudam Harer Anandasya Gunatrayatmagam. So, ultimately, the deep surrender happens and the blessing comes back from the Lord that, hey Veera, I will ensure that you always will be in my presence, the consistent presence that you will feel. That is where Vivesha Sudalam uplifted Mahabali to the Sutala, the next level. So basically the blessings that are given to Mahabali, that you will feel the complete absorption in my power. So now the question is basically, as I asked before, where am I absorbed in this world? Am I absorbed in the ego interpreted world of experiences, or having the inner connect? If we say I have the inner connect irrespective of whatever we do in this world, then we are following the yoga. So Bhagavan Krishna is now attempting to restore, basically through Arjuna, when Bhagavan says I will give this or I will bring this knowledge again to you, the restoration of the yoga through all of us, through the humanity. Because if we miss the yoga, then the imperfection will happen in life. And now Bhagavan says in the upcoming verses, we may feel that these all are the rocket sciences we are talking, the yoga and surrender and all those things. So that is where Bhagavan is trying to simplify, right? Because the people are different. Every individual is different. And Bhagavan here says that wherever you are and whatever is the condition that you are undergoing. If you are undergoing fear, or you have to meet desires, or you are now suffering in this world, or if you have some ambitions, or if you have the inquiry in you to realize, or you want to gain wisdom, whatever you want in life, wherever you are, I will respond to all of you and ensure that you all will become gradually elevated. And this is one of the most transformative way. Here Bhagavan says that this is the transformative way where life itself can become the path. Life itself can become the path for elevation. Work itself can become worship. Action itself can become the means for liberation. So that is where again the stress on yoga. Yoga is the art of transforming actions into freedom. There is no running away philosophy taught by Bhagavan Krishna. You just transform yourself through actions. And what is the transformation that will come in all of us? The freedom. So here now Bhagavan Krishna introduces these verses, 4th chapter, 11th verse. Ye yada mam prapadyante tamstadaiva bhajamyaham mama vartmanuvartante manushya partha sarvasha. Ye yada mam prapadyante tam stadaiva bhajamyaham mama vartmanu vartande manushya partha sarvasya. Ye yadha mam prapadyante, those who worship me, tan tada eva bhajami aham, in whatever way, right? I bless. Mama vartma anuvartande, in whatever way, whatever path they follow. Manushya partha sarvasya, and in always, hey partha, people, in whatever way people are devoted to me, whatever way, in that measure I manifest to them. Here we need to understand one thing. In our dharma we have this Devada Sankalpam, Devi Devada Sankalpam, and also the Upasana, the way of Upasana Sampradaya. So basically Bhagavan is integrating these two aspects, Devada Sankalpam and the Upasana Sampradayam here. That's what says, hey Partha, hey Arjuna, in whatever way people are devoted to me, in that measure I manifest to them. Right? And all men in every manner of seeking me pursue a path to me. Some seek me for the path of sense pleasures, some for wisdom guided worldly life, others for a path of renunciation. There are different paths, there are various paths, right? And Bhagavan here says, Yad bhavam tad bhavatu. There are different ways, there are different paths. And whatever paths, whatever goals you have in your mind and seeking me, I accept everybody. You can come to me through any paths. But the goal is one. There is no standard path. And here, the human evolution is not a kind of a formula where one size fits all. Because every human being is at different stages of knowing their consciousness power. You all agree with me, right? Every human being is at the different stages of knowing their inner consciousness power. And if anybody is sincere, right, they all will get a chance to uplift themselves. I will bless them, and none of the efforts will go waste. See, there are different types of seekers. We all know this. For example, if somebody is suffering from pain, right, he or she will approach the God for what? To remove the pain, to remove the illness, or remove the fear, or somebody will approach God for overcoming the losses or overcoming some crisis in life or some sort of an emotional collapse. No problem. Bhagavan says, I will support them, because though they are coming to address their pains, ultimately their pain will become a doorway for their awakening. Because they are at the early phase of the funnel, never mind. Let them approach me for alleviating the pain or removing the emotional collapse. Don't worry. I will also enable them to reflect more out of this pain, so that this pain, this suffering will become a doorway for their awakening. Or if somebody is worshipping me for just material success, the seekers who wants to gain material success, what will be their goal? Their goal will be approach the God, approach the divine for what? For wealth, for career, for promotion, or maybe improving the relationship, family relationships, or getting some better achievement in life, or help or getting help from Bhagavan to overcome the stock market crisis. Now you can see that, right? So that is where a person who is seeking for material success will approach for different reasons. Maybe worshipping God to become or worshipping the God to improve the stock market situation, to improve the relationship that I want to have in family, to figuring out avenues to create more wealth. No problem. There is no issue. I will accept them. That's what Bhagavan says. Ye yadamyam prapadyante tam tadaiva bhajamyaham. Don't worry. I will accept them, because even the desire, even the desires they have, that will mature into devotion. Desires that they have in mind ultimately will get transformed into devotion. So then initially they may say, give me success. And later they may say, give me clarity. What am I looking for? Finally, such a person may say, let me know who truly am I. Initially, that person will start with, give me success, give me more wealth. After some time, that person will ask, give me more clarity. And ultimately, the same person will ask, what am I truly doing? Who am I? Who truly am I? So, no problem, different types of seekers can come to me: distressed one, seeker of material success, or a wise seeker or a seeker of knowledge. Their initial question itself is, who am I? What is the reality? Or the question can be something like, what is my true reality? What survives after death? If I am this body, what is that? What is the true I? And how my life can be aligned truly with that truth? How will I realize the truth? So anybody at any stage of the progress in the life, they can come to me, I will accept. When Bhagavan says I will accept, as the universal consciousness, Bhagavan Krishna is saying. So in this modern hyper connected world, what is really missing in our lives is basically this inward connection, so called as the yoga. We do have endless information in this age, correct? You can ask the AI anything, large language models to agentic AI to now it's large action models, LAMs. Now, beyond that, the world models and spatial intelligence. Now, what experts are saying is the next frontier will become or will involve some models that will understand how reality and physical space will work in future. It is not something like query and it will respond. It is going to be much beyond that. What would be the reality? That would be the future. And we are in this connected world with lot of comparison. We are living in a culture of comparison, living in this world of emotional exhaustion. Lot amount of distractions, digital distractions, constant stimulation. Our minds have become externally crowded, we can say that, externally crowded. And what is happening is basically the internal emptiness due to this external crowding of the mind. And all of us need instant results. People will look at instant results, seek all quick and shortcuts. That includes hacks for improving productivity to maybe improving how to improve the dopamine, instant pleasures. And maybe we can say in this new age, right, Bhagavan Krishna probably will rewrite the definition when Bhagavan says that the yoga has been lost. So the yoga has been lost due to the digital distractions, to information overloading to instant gratification to many things. The real issue is basically the minds are crowded with external information and external distractions. Internally, we all are going blank. So that's where Bhagavan says the biggest affirmation. Don't worry whether you are in this age or Gen Z or millennials or whatever is it. I don't expect a perfection before entry. Wherever you are, whatever you are doing, start looking at me. And I will affirm you that gradually transformation will happen. Bhagavan in Gita again says at some point, Swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayade mahado bhayat. Little bit of effort, righteous living, pursuit of spiritual growth will lead to perfection. So the biggest promise that Bhagavan gives here is Ye yadamam prapadyante tam sadaiva bhajamiham mama vartmanu vartande manushya partha sarvesha. Don't worry now that I am too worldly for spirituality. Begin where you are. Bring your present state honestly, whether you are looking for materialistic pursuits or whether you are trying to overcome fear or anxiety, or whether you really want to have a meaningful life, integrating the internal calmness with the worldly pursuits, or if you have given up all the worldly things, whatever scenario is it, don't worry. Bring your present state honestly. Start from wherever you are. If you are sincere, the transformation will happen. Even if you are confused, right? That is the state of affair of Arjuna. Correct. So that is where confused Arjuna is now re-triggered the knowledge of yoga. And don't think that this yoga is for the people who are only confused, for all of us. So maybe one way we can say, from the practical point of view, our life struggles are also basically making us deviate from the yoga way. So that is where Bhagavan says that you bring back the karma yogam in all of you. This is a simple rule. So what is the best way? Actions done as yoga. And what is the effect? Actions done as yoga purifies the mind. Because the action no longer strengthens the ego. Right? See, let's take in the modern world, in this AI age, maybe in a team you can see 2 software engineers working, and maybe the goal of them is to make an app, mobile app. And what is the use of a mobile app? To give a better experience to the customer. The same 2 engineers are working for a common reason. What is the common reason? Bring customer experience through the software that you are developing. And among these 2, assume that one is looking at prestige, one is looking at superiority, one is looking at a pat on his back, and whereas the other one works or serves sincerely, act very responsibly. Whether I get pat or not, I am not bothered. I remain inwardly balanced, inwardly focused. Why am I bringing this story is basically you will be able to relate it in a better way. So the work is same for both software engineers, correct? The same two guys are working for a common reason, but whereas one is totally looking at comparison, expecting somebody to come and say it is a good job, well done, whereas the other one sincerely working, acting responsibly, taking ownership, inwardly balanced. So the first one is basically what he is accumulating the ego, he is accumulating the stress, whereas the other one is what? Other one is evolving spiritually through the work itself. So the liberation is basically in our hands. What is the liberation? The freedom, the inner freedom that we can have is with whom? Is with the individual. It is not restricted to anything. So that is where Bhagavan Krishna gives a very big hope to all of us. Basically, Bhagavan is bringing in the modern term we can say democratization of liberation. And that is the theme Bhagavan is bringing in this verse. Whatever, wherever you are, I will ensure that the democratization of liberation I am giving. And liberation is not restricted to the people who go to Himalaya, who sit inside a cave, or the people who are disappearing from a village and going to forest, or people who are in monasteries, or people who run away from society. Liberation is not restricted to those people. It is possible to all of us. Whether you are an engineer or a doctor or a teacher or a businessman or an artist or a leader or a politician or a worker or a housewife. So that is where democratization of spirituality or freedom. So all of us can evolve through what? Through the right action and the right attitude. So that is where Bhagavad Gita remains contemporary. It is not something like a shastram which came into picture long back and then and there its value got lost. No, that is where Bhagavad Gita is contemporary wisdom. And once you start understanding the wisdom, and through our life one will understand that my goal is not merely the external morality. It is not something like I need to do some righteous thing in world and I should be a good guy and all. It is much beyond that. It is not merely an external morality. Goal is only about inner refinement and see the truth within. So, restoration of yoga, that is what Bhagavan is bringing. And who all are eligible for that? We all are eligible. Right? And this yoga is basically a way that is given to humanity from reaction to response, greed to contribution, distraction to awareness, ego to surrender, compulsion to clarity, fragmentation to integration. All are these are the transformations. So you come to me wherever you are, no problem. Begin where you stand. Whatever goals you have, whatever motivations you have, whatever approach you want to have, sincerely I will guide you and I will guide for your evolution. You come with what? With that surrender. And I will ensure that a path is crafted for you. And what is the ultimate goal? The liberation. Maybe your initial demands, maybe you make me, or you enable me to come out of the pain, or you enable me more wealth, or balance my life, etc. But ultimately, I will ensure that you are properly put in the path of liberation. So the biggest declaration that Bhagavan offers to all of us is basically, you act intensely in this world without inwardly broken. This is the biggest declaration that Bhagavan gives to us. You act intensely, don't even allow any gaps to happen in your area of work. You act intensely, but you be very clear that inwardly you are not broken. You live or you act in the yogic way, right? So from a modern point of view, the karma yogi is very, very busy with meetings, probably with deadlines, traffic jams of the city, middle of the family, I mean, especially to respond to the needs and necessities of the family, right? But inwardly free. So the definition of a modern karma yogi is what? Busy with product launches, busy with learning or catching up with the AI tools, technologies, busy in doing meditation without any gaps in the morning, dealing with the traffic situations of the city, taking care of children, taking care of family, taking care of parents, respond in life for different things, yet inwardly remain free. For inwardly remaining free, you need this yoga. So you get equipped with this yoga. Now next verse. Kamkshanda karmanam siddhim yajanda iha devata kshipram hi manushe loke siddhir bhavati karmaja. Kamkshanda karmanam siddhim yajanda iha devata kshipram hi manushe loke siddhir bhavati karmaja. Kamkshanta karmanam siddhim. Kamkshanta, desiring, karmanam siddhim, the results of actions, yajante iha devata. So people worship these devata, deities, for kshipram hi manushe loke, because for quick results, siddhi bhavati karma ja, results come born of action. So longing for success in action, in this world people worships the gods, because success resulting from actions is quickly attained in the human world. But one thing we need to understand is, there is one and only one supreme divine being, who is the self of all and who is also the self of the universe. And this is the central teaching of Advaita Vedanta. Though we in the Sanatana Dharma, the upasanas, Devi Devata Sankalpam, all those things are mentioned. The fundamental or the central teaching of Advaita Vedanta is what? The supreme divine is the self of all, and that supreme divine is the self of the universe. But there are different ways to pray or seek this divine through different gods, goddesses, deities, some supernatural ways of worshipping with powers. So here Bhagavan says people exploit gods for their own purpose, because quickly I need this, I do this, I go to temple, I offer. And there are also cases that people say is that I will make this Lord as a partner and I do the business, and if the business becomes successful, I will offer 30% to that temple, to the God, to the deity. What Bhagavan says here is the absolute fulfillment will not come from this worldly life. The absolute fulfillment, or so-called the wholesomeness, happens through what? Happens through the self-knowledge. And people may get indulged in doing some shortcuts, but the ultimate goal in life is basically to have perfection, and that perfection cannot come from outside. That perfection or the wholesomeness is coming from the inward plane. What is that? The knowledge about the true self. Through that only one will become free in life, one will attain the perfection, one will attain the wholesomeness in life. So other things are shortcuts. Chadurvarnyam maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagashaha tasya kartaram abhimam vidhyakartaram avyayam. So I also created the fourfold order. Bhagavan says that I only created the fourfold grouping of people. A division which is based out of what? Which is based on the qualities and duties. And I only created this. Bhagavan says that I am the one who created this fourfold grouping of people. Though I am the creator or author of this, please know me that I am the non-doer. Vidhi agartaram avyayam. And though I created this, but please understand me that I am the non-doer who is ever changeless. There are two ways to interpret this verse. Bhagavan Krishna, who is standing in front of the Arjuna, saying that, hey Arjuna, I created this division based on duties and qualities. And the other way we need to interpret is basically the consciousness who is sitting inside in all of us created these divisions based on the duties and qualities of that manifested entity. And be mindful that the consciousness, though it created this different grouping, ultimately the consciousness is a non-doer. It is avyayam, it is the changeless. Then the question will come, on what basis this division is created? This division is created based on the temperaments. And it is not to show that some role is inferior. Spiritually, everything is superior. So what are the four grouping? Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So wherever you are with your inner maturity and ensure your swadharma to be performed, but you need to understand that the grouping is made based out of the duties and qualities. And this topic is heavily criticized, still it is criticized, but you need to understand that when you say Brahmin, somebody who does the contemplation, who live a life according to the Vedic injunction, without any expectation in life, doing the extreme renunciation and penance. Kshatriya, somebody who can or who is able to rule, who is able to protect. And what is the attitude behind that? As a divine duty. Similarly, here Bhagavan asks Arjuna to do that. You being a Kshatriya, you rule, you protect. Do it as a divine duty. And Vaishyas, they are basically, interact with people, interact our customer orientation, and they do it as a worship. And Shudras, they do duty as a service to God. And all these are mainly for what? Why we do the different karma? Basically for purification of the mind, leading to spiritual progress. Let me take a slightly different example. A hospital. In order to run a hospital, you need doctors, you need surgeons. Is that enough? You need a system to do the administration. You need to have people who run the finances. You need people who will do the nursing. You need equipments. You need technicians to run the equipments. You need housekeeping people. And what you need to understand here through the different roles which I mentioned, you just observe the qualities that are needed. Do you really need these qualities who are able to operate the machines, who are able to do the paricharanam, nursing, who are able to collect money, run the business, do the administration, having processes in place? You need doctors, good doctors to do the service, to do the surgery, to take care of the patients. Just observe these gunas, these qualities. Are they needed from these different peoples? So it is not just associated with the birth. Don't think that Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra are not associated with the birth. If you go back to our scriptures, you can see Vishwamitra Maharshi, born as a Kshatriyan, and Vishwamitran became the Brahmarshi. Through what? Through superhuman austerity. Or if you see in Mahabharatam, Vidura, Shudra, right? And having all qualities of a Brahmin and considered by others as well. So this is not just a birth-based possession. It is all about the temperament and temperament-based functioning. And we need to understand the play of these three gunas, Sattvam, Rajas and Tamas. And if you understand these four differentiations or four classifications and the three gunas, so-called Brahmana, they should be the thinkers, they should be the knowledge seekers. Maybe we can add AI also now. Because they are, AI is doing research, AI is thinking, AI is teaching, AI is also seeking knowledge. Should we add AI also into Brahmana? Jokes apart, the one who can think, teach, research, seek, they are Brahmanas. Or even you can say the people who reflect, contemplate, take decisions based on data, authoritative decision making, data evident decision making, data backed up decision making. Whereas people who are good at protecting, they are good at managing, they are good at administration, so-called Kshatriya, or the people who can run enterprises, the entrepreneurs, the merchants, the farmers, who can do the physical labor to make agriculture flourishing, or the people who are more service providers, who can support people in a better way. Don't we need these 4 flavors of gunas in our lives? And not only that, we also need to have different roles coming. For example, when you are supposed to write an exam, you need to be a Brahmana. You need to be a thinker. You need to be, reflecting and writing meaningful things. You need to have utmost concentration. Whereas when you are running, or when you are running your management meeting, you need to be a Kshatriyan. When you run your own enterprise, when you have to, when you need to really create certain things, becoming a startup owner, you need to have the entrepreneurial mindset. Otherwise also, in the corporate world also, you need entrepreneurial thinking. And at the same time, people are working for you, you need to really support them. Sometimes you need to have the servant leadership. Sometimes you need to slow down your way of thinking. Sometimes you have to wear a different hat. Isn't it? So we also have to have these different aspects, so-called as Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. The mix of 3 gunas. We all need these flavors of 4 gunas. Sorry, the three gunas and the 4 aspects that Bhagavan says here. But what Bhagavan says here is the one who is the real I, the real consciousness is a non-doer. Whether you are a Brahmana, or Kshatriya, or Vaishya, or Shudra, or whatever is it, the real consciousness, the real witness is the non-doer. Bhagavan says in the 18th chapter again, there also mentions on the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Karmani Pravibhaktani Swabhava Prabhavair Gune. In the 18th chapter, Bhagavan says that. Verse number 14. Namam karmani limpanti name karma bhale spruha idimam yobhijanadi karma bhirna sabadhyade. Namam karmani limpanti name karma bhala spruha idi mam ya abhijanadi karma bhi na sabadhyate. The one who has a clear knowledge of the Ishvara, the clear knowledge of the self, is not bound by the actions. Actions will never taint their inner peace. So we need to have a 3-step process here, a practical process here. What is the step 1? Step 1 is basically the term karmani limpanti. Limpanti meaning do not affect me. So in order not to get affected, the shift the identity from I am the doer to I am the consciousness, I am the witness. Instead of I control the outcomes, I am just an instrument. in the larger order. This is the stage 1. Stage 2, act fully without any craving. Give the 100% effort. That is karma. And release 100% attachment to outcome. This is called as bhalam, not having bhalam. But you do the karma, 100% effort, but not looking at the bhalam. So, best performance and at the same time internally free. So, shifting from I the doer to I am the consciousness, shift from I control outcomes to I am a part of the bigger order. Now, put the 100% effort, release 100% of attachment to the outcome. Then your action will become yogam. What is yogam? Yogam is the sum of balance plus detachment. So that will stop the disturbance. That will bring freedom from repetitive psychological cycles. And when we say yogam, yogam is here, ihaiva. It is in the middle of our life. So, Arjuna, please act fully, stay inwardly free, and do not lose yourself in the battle. That's what Bhagavan says to Arjuna. Na karmani, na mam karmani limpanti, na me karma bhale spruha, iti mam yo abhijanadi, karma bhirnasa badhyade. Om. पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ओम शांति शांति शांति.